Hart, and I'm just doing a quick podcast about the Jeffrey Epstein suicide. It's just come to my attention that there's a alleged prison worker that is going around saying that, or is already posted on social media, they believe that his body had been switched, which is quite an interesting point actually, because if you think about the ramifications of him suiciding, of him being murdered. Obviously, he didn't suicide. Men like that just don't suicide. And men with such power, they're always looking for a way out. He had a lot on other people. There's no way sitting in quite a powerful position, having other people under your thumb, that you'd then commit suicide. Somebody put him on suicide watch, but I think that's just a backup, so it's not seemingly out of the blue, but also how could somebody kill themselves if they are on suicide watch? I mean, serial killers that are watched, like Fred West, obviously, Fred West was on suicide watch and he ended up killing himself, but that was because of the inadequacies of the British prisons. They can slip through, but I think in this case, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein ever did want to kill himself. So either he has been murdered or he has been switched. Today, on the front pages of The Guardian, there was a story about Prince Andrew and that he had been named as somebody who had abused an underage girl or touched her up, something along those lines. So the royals are untouchables, and of course, it's not the done thing to ever go against them. Look what happened to Diana. And of course, they have the MI6 hit squad to take out whoever they want to take out. So it's all rather strange. He starts giving names of Democrats, and then next thing, this happens. So in the news, we have the 3 mass shootings recently, which took his name completely off the front pages. And so it was out of the public's mind for a minute because our minds were so focused on the horror of the mass shootings. And then, of course, it comes in with a quick suicide. So it all seems pretty orchestrated, and it's like they're not pretending anymore and don't even care that we know that they're not pretending. It's just really a bad show, because in other cases, we've kind of sucked up that there are these suicides and car accidents and, this kind of thing. But in this case, I think the public aren't going to just sit back and take it. But of course, if they want to cover something up, then it will be covered up. Of course, nobody, people might attack, people in politics, people in Hollywood, but nobody goes near British royalty. So that was always going to happen when they did go near British royalty. And of course, you've got people like Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, surely she knows where the bodies are buried, and various other people. And I'm sure he had a tripwire put in place, like information buried, if ever this did happen. So it kind of makes it more likely that he was brought out of there and switched and has now been given plastic surgery and a new ID and is living elsewhere. That is more like it. And of course, this idea is circulating. But then again, of course, it might be that somebody puts that out as a kind of a red herring, and then that gets exposed as though that wasn't for real, and then people think, oh no, well, that didn't happen, when actually it did happen. Anything can happen, and we, the public, are just peasants really kept in the dark and just, fed on shit, really. We aren't, it's not an equal world. There's the people that rule it, they do all these things that they want to do, and the rest of us live a totally different life. We don't have access to anything. We don't even have access to spiritual energy. We're all dumbed down with fluoride, and you know, there's grids in place that we don't have access to anything, and there's energy harvesting going on to the poor, and all these attachments are put out. So we don't even have access to God right now. We're literally hamsters in a box. So if something like this goes on outside the box, then really the way they look at it is it's none of our business, and the chattering classes can carry on chattering, but nobody really gives a damn what we think.